The story you're about to see is true. The names have not been changed to protect the guilty. So watch and learn the right way. All right, let's see what it's going to take to change the oil and filter on this beautiful little Suzuki GSF 600 Bandit S. A gorgeous bike. Look at this thing. It is a minter, and this thing's 20 years old. I'm just going to follow along in the manual, although I probably shouldn't because apparently these are wrong. I did a video on a DRZ 400 a little while ago, and this short that I made from the very same video. And it just got roasted in the comments. Apparently I'm an idiot. I don't know what I'm talking about. But I mean, I was just following along in the manual, but the internet gurus say I'm an idiot and the manuals are wrong and not to go by this. So let's not make the same mistake on this one. I'll help you avoid those. As I'm doing this, we'll just refer to where I went wrong, and hopefully we can get through it without any hassle. Let's see how we make out. First thing I like to do is get the bike warm so that oil will flow freely. Then get it level. You can see there we got a bit of oil in there and we're ready to go. The bike also has a belly pan, yours may not. There's 4 bolts that hold it on. Remove the bottom bolts first, the bottom rear bolts, and then slide a piece of foam underneath to take the weight of that thing. I don't have an extra set of hands to hold it, so that's how I get around that. Undo the left bolt and then it can hang there nicely. Get around on the right side, remove that last bolt and it won't fall away. Pull out the foam, good to go. Now you can see on the right side, you really can't see that filter very good, but on the left side, there it is tucked in right there. And there's the drain bolt right underneath. Now that's a 17 mil socket to get on that and loosen it up. And that's what I do. I just free it up so I can spin it off by hand. Slide in a drain pan, and you can glove your hand up so you don't get all oily, but if you're quick, you can do this. Boom, just like that, and there's the drain plug. Good to go. Okay, before we go too far, I just wanted to check the manual and see where I went wrong on that last video. And first thing I can think of is when I made a reference to the drain plug here having a magnet on it. Now take a close look at this drain plug. That's a magnet. If it's got bits of steel stuck to it, yeah, forget the oil change, you got bigger fish to fry. And how it caught chunks of metal and how that was not a good thing. In the manual here it says if there are flakes or chips of metal in the oil, then something is drastically wrong internally and the engine will have to be disassembled. According to the internet guys, gotta expect that. See the comments?
There's always metal on the magnet.
Bits of steel, who cares? Just keep driving it.
It's normal for it to have metal shavings on it. You'll always have something stuck to the magnet. It's called normal wear and tear.
So obviously this page in the book is a waste of time. May as well get rid of that. Done. Next. Now here it says discard the sealing washer on the drain plug as it should be replaced whenever the drain plug is removed. So that's what I thought. Want to replace that big money washer there? I think that cost me $1. But no, internet gurus, you don't need to replace that washer. You just use the old one. It's all flattened out. It's fine. Like, see these comments here?
If the correct thread and length is used, oil will not seep through. Just use seal tape for plumbing. I used it for years in drain plug, no problem at all.
Okay. Who needs a sealing washer? As we get rid of that page. Done.
Okay, now here's a close look at the Bandit's drain plug. Mine does not have a magnet, but yours might. Also, you can see here how compressed the old crush washer is, and sometimes they can be a little tough to spin off, but this one was no problem. Now, compared to a new one, you can clearly see the difference and imagine how good a seal you get when you torque this washer in place. But hey, if it makes sense to you to use plumbing tape, rubber bands, maybe some silicone caulking, bits of cardboard, or even reuse the old washer and torque it down extra tight, you do you. Have at it, man. I mean, why would you bother investing a couple of bucks for the right part to protect your expensive bike? I guess I'm the bonehead for following the manual.
Now the next point is regarding when you put the drain plug back in and the torque settings. It clearly says here, fit the plug into the sump and tighten it to the torque settings specified at the beginning of the chapter. Go to the beginning of the chapter, right here. Oil drain plug, 23 Newton meters. Check out the comments.
Just use a breaker bar to tighten it. It won't come loose. You don't need a torque wrench to tighten an oil drain. Shaking my head.
You don't need to do that. Nobody uses a torque wrench. You wouldn't last 5 minutes in the shop with that. Just tighten it up, you're good to go. Okay, why is it even in the manual? I don't know. Obviously we don't need it. Internet gurus say get rid of it, so hey, let's get it out of there. Done. You know, at this rate, there's not going to be very many pages left in this manual at all. Good thing we're just doing an oil change. Holy jeez, if we had to listen to the internet gurus, this thing would be like wafer thin. All right, well, let's get to it.
While the online Einsteins will cringe at the thought of using the correct tool, I'm still going to recommend a torque wrench. Now call me crazy, and I'm sure they will, plus a lot of other names, but it's a fail-safe way to do the job right, just like the pros would. You can see here how the crush washer gets compressed precisely the correct amount and creates a perfect seal. I mean, why would you do it any other way? I don't know. Anyway. Okay, next up we want to get that filter off. It can be a little tough. You might need a wrench, you're going to need a pan, some rags. Make sure to cover your pipes as best you can, get a lot of protection in there because it does get a bit drippy. If you can grab it with a wrench, go ahead. It's pretty tough. Once you get it started, it'll fall off just like that. It tends to drain and drip for quite a while, maybe half an hour or so before it finally stops. Then you can pull that muck out of there. get a rag in, do a final wipe around, and then get ready to install the filter.
My preference is this K&N filter number 138. It has a couple of features I really like. Number one, it comes pre-drilled for safety wire application, and because I do the odd track day, it's routine for me to safety wire filters and drain plugs on all of my bikes. The second feature I like is the built-in 17mm nut on the top that allows for easy filter removal. Now, it's not to be used to install the filter, just remove it. To properly install the filter, just remove the protective plastic wrap on the bottom and apply a light film of oil on the rubber O-ring. It doesn't require much, just a drop or two on your finger rubbed around the lip is all you need. Then just spin the filter onto the stud pipe until the O-ring makes contact with the base plate surface.
Then give it 3/4 to 1 full turn more to seat it, as recommended by the picture seen here on the side of the filter.
Now we can get some oil into the bike. Our manual recommends 10W40. If you're just changing the oil, it says 3.3 liters. If you're changing the oil and filter, you'll need 3.5 liters. The startup procedure directly from the manual reads like this. Check the oil level as described in the daily pre-ride checks. Basically, it's just make sure the bike is level and confirm oil is between the marks in the viewing window. Start the engine and let it run for 2 or 3 minutes. Make sure that oil pressure light extinguishes after a few seconds. Shut it off, wait a few minutes, then recheck the oil level and add oil if necessary. Then check around the drain plug and oil filter seal for leaks. All right, no leaks, we're looking good. Now you know how to change the oil and filter on your bike the proper way. No matter what the internet Einsteins will tell you, just follow the manual, use a torque wrench, replace washers when it says. It just makes sense. If you want to learn something really cool about the chain on your bike, check out this video right here. It's full of really interesting facts, and I guarantee you those boffins on the internet haven't got a clue about. All right, I got stuff to do. See ya.